Ever wonder what happened to the giant, sprawling nightclub? That one single place you'd go for a huge night out? It feels like they've kind of vanished. Well, a really fascinating study of New York's club scene has an answer. And, surprise, surprise, it all comes down to technology. And we're not just talking about the music we listen to, it's about how tech has completely flipped the script on the entire experience of going out.
So, that's the central question we're digging into. Why did the giant dance floor, the very heart and soul of the classic nightclub, seem to just evaporate? To find the answer, we've got to go back in time.
To really get what's happening now, you have to picture a different world. Let's go back to the 1980s and 90s. This is an era before smartphones, before Spotify, when the whole universe of nightlife was basically written in vinyl. I mean, just look at the difference. Back in the analog days, nightlife was centralized. You went to the club. That's where you'd meet people. That's where you'd hear a specific legendary DJ. Now, the whole scene is completely fragmented, right? We find out about parties on Instagram, we meet up at a bunch of smaller bars, and the DJ is often just some person plugging in a laptop. It's a whole different ballgame.
See, back then, the DJ was everything. They were true gatekeepers of the culture. It wasn't just about pushing buttons. It was a serious craft that took a huge investment. You needed crazy expensive records, you needed the gear. And owning those rare tracks, that gave them what the study calls cultural capital. They weren't just service providers, they were artists with loyal crowds who would follow them from club to club. Getting into that DJ booth was a massive deal.
And because of that, the experience on the dance floor was totally different. A night out wasn't just a playlist of bangers. It was a narrative, a real journey. The DJs would spend hours carefully building up the energy, bringing it down, and taking the whole crowd on this shared emotional ride that, honestly, you just couldn't get anywhere else.
And then, boom, everything changed. A couple of big waves of technology crashed onto the scene and completely blew up that established world. This was the beginning of the tech takeover. You can see how fast it all happened. We went from DJs lugging around these massive, heavy crates of vinyl to CDs, which were a little easier. Then the first big leap, digital systems like Serato, which let DJs mix MP3s using special turntables. And from there, it was a really short jump to the all-in-one laptop controllers we see everywhere today. With every single step, the barrier to entry, both the cost and the technical skill, got lower and lower. And this brings us to a really key idea from the study. It's called technological mediation. Now, it sounds a little academic, but the concept is super simple. New tools don't just make a job easier, they actually change the entire culture around that job. So for DJs, it wasn't just about carrying fewer records. It changed what skills were important, how clubs booked talent, and what the crowd even thought was a good DJ set. The tech rewrote the rules. Which leads us right to the world we live in now, the era where it kind of feels like everyone is a DJ. But as the study points out, making it easier for everyone to get in the game turned out to be a classic double-edged sword. It brought some amazing new opportunities, but also a whole new set of problems.
So let's break that down. What did this so-called democratization actually do? Well, on the one hand, some good things. Lower costs for aspiring DJs, way more musical variety for us, and more flexibility for venues. But the bad? The market got flooded. An oversaturation of DJs meant that fees were driven way, way down. And that special, almost magical mystique that used to surround the DJ, it started to fade away. Now, this massive cultural shift didn't just affect the DJs. It had a huge impact on the physical places themselves. The entire map of where we go out started to get redrawn, pitting the old school club against the new school bar. And the data really tells the story. While this chart is just illustrative, it reflects a very real trend in the industry. Traditional big-room nightclubs are in a slow, steady decline. And at the same time, the more flexible, more adaptable bar and pub format is taking over. This trend has totally reshaped our social lives. The slice of our nightlife pie that used to belong to that one big club has shrunk a lot. And what's replaced it? Well, it's been broken up into smaller pieces, local bars, house parties, or, let's be honest, sometimes just staying home. The central hub is gone, replaced by dozens of little satellites. There's a quote from the research that just perfectly captures the shift in the physical experience. It's how the actual feeling of dancing has changed. Partygoers now describe the experience as dancing in place at the bar, rather than losing themselves. Wow, that really says it all, doesn't it? So, after all this upheaval, where does that leave us? What does the future look like? The good news is the study doesn't just leave us with a problem. It actually offers a path forward, a way for people to stand out in this new, super crowded, tech-driven scene. And the recommendations are pretty clear. For DJs, the answer is to double down on the human element, the skills that a sync button can never ever replicate, like reading a room and taking risks. For venues, it's about building a unique musical identity, and this is crucial, actually protecting physical space for people to dance. And for cities, it's about finally recognizing that nightlife isn't just a nuisance, it's a vital cultural engine.
So we're left with this huge choice. The technology is not going away. It's here to stay. So it's really up to the artists, the venues, and all of us in the community to decide how we use it. Is it going to be a tool that just automates everything and waters down the experience? Or can we use it to amplify real artistry and create the next great chapter in nightlife? The future of the dance floor? Well, it pretty much depends on how we answer that question.